2 weeks later, I was on the Social Proof podcast. And that episode got 130,000 views, and it made me over multi-five figures in revenue. And what it did is that it built the relationship that me and Shands now have. That relationship does not happen if I didn't get in the room. So like that's just one story. And G, I'll let you chime in too. But that's just one story that getting in that room that one day has changed my life and built a relationship that I still have today.
Yeah, and then you also got to realize that when you're like online is cool, right? And I don't think like most people are genuinely nice in real life. But what happens is, someone, starts to accumulate a lot of followers, and you get a lot of bots and spam on social, right? So it's kind of hard to know who is who. And so half the battle of online versus offline is that you get an opportunity to connect with somebody in real life, and as a result, you can kind of bypass some of the guardrails that you typically experience online, right? So to Carter's point, he been DMing Shands for a while, on social media. But then once you get in a room, it's like, okay, well, two things happen. Number one, depending upon the room it is, you're going to have a certain level of just baked in respect. Because it's like, oh, well, you in this room, like at minimum, you're all about investing in yourself or being in the right spaces, right? And then on top of that, you kind of get to, depending upon how you got access to the room, you get to borrow somebody else's credibility, right? So the trust of one leads to the acceptance of many, right? So David had a trust with Neo. So as a result, it led to the acceptance of the introduction of other people. And so you'd be surprised how fast you can growth track opportunities, how fast you can growth track conversations just by being in the right spaces, right? But here's the thing though, right? Like I'm not one of those guys like just gonna tell you, just be in the room, just get in the room and everything's gonna happen. You're gonna start making multi-six figures, right? Like it's not that simple, right? But when you get in those rooms, it's about how you navigate those rooms, right? So here's the thing. Going back to social media, right? People are DMing, like if the person is who you think they are, how many other people do you think are just like you in the DMs like, hey, I got a quick question. Like you just, like if they are who you think they are, right? So you got to realize like they're constantly just getting bombarded with, hey, I got a quick question. Hey, I got a good business idea. Hey, can you do this promo video for my thing? Hey, can you try my, like just constantly people pulling, right? So if you want to separate yourself apart from the average person who tries to connect with this person, right? What you have to do, I don't say what you have to do. One thing that we like to do is we like to ask that person, not this question, right? But another question. The question that most people ask is like, they might ask something like, how can I add value to you, right? And on the surface, that sounds like a really good question. The problem is you are immediately creating homework for the person who knows nothing about you. How do they know how you can add value to them? Because they don't even know who you are. Now they got to think, well, shoot, like, I don't know. A better question, however, might be, what is the biggest challenge or problem that you're experiencing in your business right now? And if you had the ability to solve it, what would that do for you? Right? Something like that. Not verbatim, but something like that. Because now they're like, because every entrepreneur wants to know and wants to have awareness on what their biggest challenge is, right? They want to have awareness on that. So number one is going to be thought-provoking because they need to know what they don't know. So they're going to appreciate that. And then it's going to stand out because no one else has asked them that question. Someone else is asking them, what are they reading right now? Which might have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's an awful question, man. That's an awful right? question, dog. Yeah.
Right, what are you reading right now? I mean, dude, I don't know, threads. Like, what does that got to do with you? You know what I'm saying? So like when you ask them that question, now it opens the gates for you to have visibility to something that could actually add value to them. And here's the kicker. I'm gonna give you one more bar. You might not know or be the person to solve that thing, but now that you know it, you can be the middleman. Right now, okay, this person really needs help with their short form content. I know somebody that can do it. Or I can spend a little bit of my time Googling to figuring out who can solve that problem for them and then provide that value, right? Hey, I remember last time we connected, I met you in person. You said you having some challenges with your short form content. I found this agency, they'll do 30 clips per podcast for $100. Thought you might find it valuable. Man, where'd you find them at? So now you have positioned yourself as someone who not only helped them identify what their pain point was, but you then actually provided a solution. But just going in to ask, like, I need this, I want this, is just, quite frankly, selfish, and it's not going to work.
Yeah. No, I think that's huge. And like, again, we all have honest intentions, but it doesn't always lead to honest results. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that question about how can I add value? Like, now I got to sit and think about how you can help me. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you can help me, and I don't want to seem like stuck up. So now I got to say something. But that question of, hey man, I'm curious. Like, what's your biggest challenge right now, bro? Like, what's your biggest challenge that if you solve right now would change everything for you? I've asked that to multiple high level people, and the looks on their face. It's just because most people haven't thought about that. So look on their face like, yo, this person really cares, and they give you the answer. And again, write it down. Don't just say it and like walk away. Like you need to, if you want to nurture that relationship, write that question down and save it so that you can solve it the next time you see that person. Because let me ask y'all a question in the chat. When you meet somebody for the first time that you really wanted to meet, what is the first thing that most people ask for? Let me see it. Drop it in the chat. When you meet somebody you really want to meet, what is the first thing that most people ask for?
Yep.
Exactly. Most people, hey man, yo, can I get a quick pic? Pull up phone, make it real awkward. You know, don't even put the camera on.
Don't even ask, right? Don't even ask. Just put your arm around them real quick.
Yeah.
Don't even ask for real.
Right. So the first thing that most people ask for is a photo. And if you ask for a photo, that relationship will last for one frame. But when you meet somebody and you ask to add value to them, that relationship can last for a lifetime. So you got to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want all of these one frame relationships? Or do you want all these lifetime relationships? Because once they're your homie, you can take as many pictures and videos that you want, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta leave with the end in mind. That one picture that you're gonna post one time, like that they ain't gonna like, don't worry about that. Right. Build a lifetime relationship, and you can have real experiences in a relationship with these people, man. So that has really helped me get to the next level with some people that I really wanted to meet, and I hope that it can help y'all get to the next level with some people that y'all want to meet.
And just real quick, being funny about it. Like, if you do take a picture with somebody, do not invite them as a collaborator on Instagram. They are not going to accept it.
That's unnecessary pressure that you just add to somebody's life. Like, I don't know you. You forced the picture, and now you gonna add me as a collaborator. Like, come on, what are we doing here, man?
What are we doing? just say we was family. We just want to be real with y'all. If you wonder why that request has not been accepted, that's why. Looking at the DMs like, they didn't accept this request yet.
Do you send him the photo in his DM to make sure he got it? Oh my God, people are crazy. Okay, so the next thing. So now that we focused on getting in the room, which was number one. The second thing we focused on was asking the right questions, right? Not asking for a photo, but instead of asking about different ways to add value to them. So now that we have that, I think the third thing is, maintaining that relationship correctly. So one of the things that I've done, right, over probably the last 2 years that has moved the needle forward the most in most of my relationships is, so I put all of the people I want to build relationships with in an Excel document, and I named the document "People I Want to Be a Hero To," right? And I have the name of all these people I've met over the last 3 years, right? And then next to their name, I have the answer to whatever question that I asked them. So if I ask them what's the biggest challenge in their business, I have that written down directly next to their name. So I have their name, I have their biggest challenge, and then I have I solved it yet? Right? Have I solved it yet? Yes or no? And every Wednesday, so I have 2 hours blocked on my calendar. I call it Relationship Wednesdays, right? I have 2 hours blocked on my calendar every Wednesday, and anybody who has a no next to their name that I haven't solved their problem for, I spend that 2 hours trying to find a solution to that challenge. So if I have 300 names in there, I just pick like 5 people per Wednesday. Can I am I in the place? Do I have the connections, or have I done the research to solve that person's problem yet? Because one of the best things that you can do for a high value person is randomly surprise them with a way to solve their problem. So like, imagine if like just a random day, somebody sends you a text message, hey man, I know like last month you told me about the challenge you had. Here's 3 resources, here's 2 people, and here's one thing that I think you should do, right? If you do that once a week, 5 people a week, you've nurtured 250 relationships per year, right? Now, I don't know about y'all, but I look at relationship building as deposits into my relationship bank, right? So every time I add value to somebody, that's one more deposit into my relationship bank. And one day I might have to cash out that bank, but you don't want to cash that check and that check bounces. So I'm just intentional every week about adding value to people, because I never know when I might need that value added back to me. So like, just like you put meetings on the calendar, just like you put your workout on the calendar, you should be putting relationship building on the calendar as well. Because we all know that if you don't put it on your calendar, it most likely it's not gonna happen. And the question is simple, y'all. How can I be the person? Because there are 2 types of people, right? When you call somebody, they look at you like, when you call somebody's phone, when they look at your name, that determines how they view you as a person. Do you want to be like a bill collector to that person? When they see that phone, like, this is somebody about to ask for something else, like, right? Or do you want to be a person that every time somebody sees your number, they want to answer the phone? Like, right? How can I become the person in the relationship that every time that person sees my name pop up, they answer the phone because they know that I'm bringing some value when I call them, right? How can I be that person? And the more that you can be that person, the better off that you overall be.
Big facts. Because at the end of the day, right? Like, you guys are obviously in the morning meetup for a reason, right? You're trying to grow, build, and connect, and all the other things, right? So when you're thinking about these opportunities to build these relationships, it's like understanding that you could be one relationship away from completely changing your business, right? You could find that accountability partner you've been looking for. You can find that co-investor because you've been trying to invest in real estate forever, but you need some help doing it, right? You can find that business partner, right? But that's not going to happen if you're not leading with value and leading with intention, right? You're going just seeking what you want, no matter what the room is, whether it's the morning meetup or regardless of what the room is. If you're not leading with value and leading with the intention of being a resource to someone else, it's going to be a slim chance that it's not going to work out. So for example, how me and Carter got here wasn't just that, we were at this conference and he was a, kind of swaggy black guy. I was a little bit more swaggy black guy. Like that wasn't the reason.